Marvel Comics really just doesn't want to give readers what they want. It's like so bizarre because when you have a legacy property and you have a legacy IP, it's like you know where it's going to go. And you know that any changes to the character, the dark moments that they love to push in these comics these days, aren't going to stick because the character's just going to reset anyway. It's not a big deal. So at some point, you really just want to cater to your audience. And they keep chasing this, quote, younger demographic for Spider-Man, thinking that younger people are not going to relate to Spider-Man if he's married to Mary Jane. It's been this way for like decades. They've been saying this. And yet it's very, very odd. When I was 12 and I got my first issue of Amazing Spider-Man, he was married to Mary Jane. And I actually liked it. I was pretty happy that the hero got the redhead in the end. I was like, this is cool. And it as a nerdy dude growing up, you know, that's kind of what you want to see. And so everybody's wanted to see this. And it's shown over the years that that's the case. But Marvel Comics drags their feet in the mud. And I think it's just they hate their fan base and they hate the audience. They hate you as a reader. They view you as pay pigs. And that's the entire problem as to why they can't get Amazing Spider-Man going at this point. And Tom Brevoort is one of the most out-of-touch, crazy people. I don't know how he still has a job at Marvel, but he does. And he said something stupid again. So please hit the like, subscribe button as we get into this. I'm going to rant about Spider-Man today, guys, because I'm sick of this shit. And I know you are too. And I appreciate you for being there. This is my Fandom Pulse Substack where I write up articles of the day. Please join in the description below and get all of our news. We have John Trent working on us. He used to be the editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics, and he's writing at least 5 articles a day as well. And we are totally supported by readers like you. There's no advertising on here because we've been censored before. Bounding Into Comics censored John Trent and me. That's why we both left that company and started our own thing here, guys. So thank you guys for signing up for the Substack. It's growing like crazy. We appreciate you for being there. I'm also a comic creator, and I know what comic fans want because you've told me. We have a giant Discord of a great community, and you guys kept telling me, we want strong male leads. Well, I delivered this for you guys, because I was watching what was going on with Warhammer 40K, and they're turning their Space Marines into strong female lead nonsense again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring Space Marines back and make them great again. Just like Robert, not like Warhammer, but like Heinlein Starship Troopers, guys. That's what I'm talking about, the old school Space Marines. And so I added a Space Marine unit to my Terran Imperium Chronicles, which is my big sci-fi world I'm building with multiple lines. This is a great time to get in, and it is on Fund My Comic. Kickstarter banned me because of my YouTube commentary here because I'm too based, and they don't want me competing with the mainstream industry because they know that I'm going to win. I've delivered 13 graphic novels successfully to people. Been at this a long time, not a novice. This is a 66-page graphic novel, just pure action adventure. All-male Space Marine unit. You're going to love it. And check it out in the description below. We just hit $15,000 yesterday because of your support, and I appreciate you for being there. We're getting to 300 backers. Love it. Appreciate you again. Check us out. This is a great alternative to Marvel Comics, and support indie comics, guys, because these guys hate you. They don't want you as customers. They've said so over and over. And if you look at it, the entire dissolution of the Spider marriage, again, was just to get that younger demographic, the modern audiences, right? They can't handle marriage, right? And it started well before One More Day. It started when they tried to make Peter Parker into a guy with, dyed blonde hair in the 90s. He's single now. He's hip. He's with it. This is the modern Spider-Man, the Clone Saga. And Peter Parker was revealed as a clone. He was going to go off into the sunset with Mary Jane and have his end. And you were reading the clone's adventures all along. Sorry about that. Well, that didn't play. Sales tanked, and they got everybody back again. And so what did they do? Like a couple years later, they have Mary Jane die in a plane crash. So Peter can be single again. Well, it just made Peter just miserable. And of course, it was terrible. And again, these are two events where it just was a mass exodus, as it's very clear they were trying to force this storyline that readers didn't want over and over and over again by removing Mary Jane from the equation. People wanted Spider-Man to be married to her. She was a great foil for him. Her being there was very, very important to the character development, and it felt very, very flat since then. Everything since they've tried to remove this has just felt like they won't allow anything interesting to happen to Peter Parker in his life. Naturally, this was followed up once they brought her back again. They have Peter make a deal with the devil to let his poor aunt live one more day. It's like, what? And so he erases all of existence in something that didn't make any sense with continuity, the character powers whatsoever. And suddenly, in the very next issue, after the storyline ended, Peter's making out with a girl in a club. I mean, just to rub it into the audiences. And that's how, at that point, I realized these people hate me. They hate you as a reader. They want to rub it in. Everything, they know you're not going to like this, and they're just going to stick your nose in it like you're a dog who pooped in the house, right? That's how they view you. And yet, and it kind of works because, honestly, people just keep buying Amazing Spider-Man out of habit, and they know this. And ever since this point, if you notice, like in recent years, they don't put their top talent on Amazing Spider-Man. They put like their B and C list talent on Amazing Spider-Man. That's why you get the Zeb Wellses of the world writing it for years, because they know it's just going to sell no matter what. And everybody's been saying that this is one of the worst runs in history, having Mary Jane hooked up with this Paul guy for a long, long time. Nobody wanted this. And this is the backdrop for what they've been doing to Spider-Man for a long, long time. There's zero real character development. There's zero real stories that matter at this point. It feels like a flat, fake Peter Parker because, like, you know, there's no purpose to his life. You've just removed one of the crucial elements of his side cast, which is Mary Jane, who's just relegated to the background. And now they've turned her into a superhero, too. It's just so insulting to longtime readers. Now, if they didn't get the memo, because, you know, they've been complaining for years. We did a video on how editor Nick Lowe at New York Comic Con got just savaged by fans about this and had no answer. Just to in case they weren't sure, Hickman came out with Ultimate Spider-Man, and the reason that is the bestseller on the stands, that it outsells everything at Marvel and DC for even now, even a year in, because Peter Parker's married to Mary Jane with kids. That's what the readers wanted. They gave the readers what they wanted, but they put it in an alternate universe where it's all screwed up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even with that, even with it being an Elseworld story, it still is outselling everything else. And the reason is not, I mean, yes, people like Hickman, not to that degree, though. The reason is they gave the readers what they want with Spider-Man, the flagship title. This is a signal to you, Marvel, what you should be doing with the main line. Now, Tom Brevoort is an idiot, and we know this. He's running the X-Men line right now, running it into the ground again. By all accounts, Wes from Thinking Critical says it's worse than Krakoa, which is like, whoa. I actually like the Gail Simone book, but I dropped the others outside of that because I just couldn't do it anymore. They were painful. And he has been just getting his foot in his mouth over and over and over again. He told readers that sales have been fine for Marvel and DC lately, even though they're trying all these stunts with a new Ultimate Universe, a new Absolute Universe. DC's all in, brand new #1. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot #1, Transformers reboot #1. They've pulled out the stops over the last years because sales have been bad. He says they're fine, and obviously just lying through his teeth. On top of this, he's made X-Men into this identity politics crazy thing, like the E-viewing one. She's a race grifter. They put on Exceptional X-Men, turned it into this Kitty Pryde lesbian romance with a character who looks a lot like E-viewing. It's a self-insert again, learning zero lessons out of the last several years. Now, anybody who criticizes it, he blocks on X. He blocked everybody. I'm sure he's moved over to Blue Sky at this point. I haven't looked because just self-censoring it into the echo chamber where he can't have fans who care interact with him. And he called people cretins who said that they disagreed with having this level of politics in the X-Men books. And so, yes, attacking fans personally, lying about sales. This is who's in charge at Marvel Comics. It's crazy. But this is what he says in Spider-Man. This is mask off again. He talks about Peter Parker. He says he can get back with Mary Jane. He just can't actually tie the knot with Mary Jane. So Marvel's directive from editorial, and he's an editor at Marvel, is those are the ground rules going in. Peter Parker can never get married to Mary Jane in mainline continuity again. They have rules for it. It's set that way just to screw with you. Even though you really want it, it's very, very obvious. Everybody asks about it. Everybody wants it. And they just will not allow it at Marvel Comics because they hate Peter Parker being in a holy matrimony. It's a Christian institution, and they just want to destroy that institution. It's part of the agenda for sure. And they just want to make their readers unhappy, I guess, because this is what I think, because they put the BC talent on Amazing Spider-Man. I really think they just think, hey, you're going to buy Amazing Spider-Man no matter what. We're not going to give you what you want. We're going to phone it in, just keep it going, put out 2 issues a month just to make, because it says Amazing Spider-Man, you're going to buy it anyway, you simps. And that's how they view you. It's really, really ridiculous. And he likens the marriage to Daredevil being blind. Well, Peter Parker, again, was married for a lot of years in the comics, and like everybody loved it. There was no problems with it. It's when you started trying to muck with it with the Clone Saga and with all these different storylines that it caused problems for Spider-Man. It was removing it that has destroyed the character of Spider-Man, and Ultimate Spider-Man should have been a huge wake-up call for you guys. But again, like I said, I think Marvel Comics just hates Spider-Man fans and hates their own readers. It's the only thing that makes sense at this point. All right, hit the like and subscribe button, my friends. Leave a comment down below. Sign up for my Substack, which is also in the description. Appreciate you for being there as I work hard to write the articles that a lot of YouTubers read these days. And of course, check out my Emerald Array graphic novel. You're going to love this. This is me listening to you as readers. I gave you everything you wanted. My advanced readers said this is what we've wanted out of JDA books this entire time. This is the one. Check it out, guys. It's in the description below. Thank you guys for supporting independent comics. We'll be back soon.